Absolutely.
Hey. Yeah, don't be scared of the bastards.
All right, where's Fleetwood going to dump this one onto the green here, Call?
Yeah, I got down there, took a good look at this. It's not a bad lie. It's difficulty here is the ball is a little bit below his feet, and it's a very tight pin. I think even Tommy knows that a good shot here would be about 15 feet behind the pin. Take your medicine.
Well,
yep, out of position off the tee shot.
I would say it'd be very acceptable from that spot.
Snedeker with about 15 feet for his par. It's going to be another lost shot on a par 3 for Snedeker. Made bogey back at the 5th. And another here at 10. So SungJaeIm back to work at 15 now.
Yes, Swanee, I was kind of surprised that both of these guys took driver here. It looked like to me that Fleetwood tried to take a little bit too much off that tee shot. Im now has got to come over that little dome or mound on the right there. Ball will skip hard and then go a little bit to the right. He's made that look easy. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few players in the afternoon hit 3-wood, just cover that trap and give themselves a little bit better angle from the front of the green here. Yes. That's a nice shot from Im.
Some of them might even be able to chase it on the green with 3-wood. But
exactly what DJ did yesterday. The whole location cut in the back on day 2 there at 15. Hostler in for par. No lost shots today through 10.
Through some friends of my brother-in-law. I'm going to go make that little trip and very much looking forward to that.
How about that run? Those 3 courses, Carl Swatton.
Can I tag along? Wow, I tell you what 3 beautiful golf courses. Like Swanee said, they've earned it, Carney. 5 on the road, on the trot.
10 years ago, I might have cared what I shot.
Even better. Hostler with driver up at 11.
Losing this a little bit to the right. He's going to need to get lucky to avoid that native grass over there.
Just a par for Fleetwood back here at 15. You see Tommy's FedEx Cup number 123, so he doesn't have a lot of breathing room.
No, and it's interesting. You talk about players that have become comfortable in that situation. Tommy has been part of the FedEx Cup. We get back to SungJaeIm.
Yeah, this for his birdie. Very nice little pitch to that point. Made the pitch look easy.
The FedEx Cup, obviously, era was after mine. So but you always had the pressure of finishing the top 125. So that pressure has always been there, just a little different now.
Oh, get lucky.
Snedeker heading right at 11 as well. He and Hostler both over there. I don't know if Brandt was quite as fortunate. There's a way here at 16.
Yeah, another challenging green complex. This ball headed left. Hit a shot from out of the sand in the second round that led to a birdie.
This way, yeah.
Yeah.
Might ultimately be okay. That hole location there, back right. So the angle won't be too bad. You can actually just, there's right here is the back of the 15th green. So just kind of a great flow to this golf course.
Nice ball, Tommy.
Speaking of flow, Fleetwood threads one here at 16.
Yeah, I would say other than...
Oh, Sned's a little tangled up here at 11.
I think he caught the trees on the right.
Okay, I mean, just to find it, first of all, and then get it back into play.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's where Dustin Johnson yesterday had As he finished off his round, he was in the thick grass, but he couldn't play it.
Hostler not in quite as precarious of a spot, although that looks like it's semi-embedded there.
Yeah, a little downhill as well. Easy to hit this one fat. Because really from this distance, you want to make sure you get all golf ball initially.
Pretty clean contact. That was a solid strike from Hostler. Going to be pleased with that one, I would think.
Good shot there again. It was all about keeping the balance, making sure the contact was good.
Iron play has been superb for DJ, 5th best in the field in proximity to the hole. He's in the final pairing of the day at 150. Snedeker's 3rd into the 11th.
They want to land this a little left of the flag. Should feed down there.
All right, good shot. Good putt.
It'll be a heck of a par if he can pop that one in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely perfect tee shot. Split the fairway yet again. What little wind is there has died down a little bit and will be off his right and down. This one another solid looking shot. Oh boy, this one is taking dead aim at it. This will be nice if it's the right way.
It is.
Really no tree trouble to talk of. It's from just 127. Actually, it's a pretty good angle. Just got to be careful to control the spin off the sand sometimes. You can get a little bit too much.
He called
But he
that
caught
one.
it the other way, heavy. That's done just on the front.
More from right to left than Bo might have read. Just lacked speed there. That was a good read.
Hostler 94th in putting on the tour this season. That's kind of middle of the pack.
It is.
Years of age. Snedeker and Steve Stricker are the first 2 players that come to my mind, Karn, who have never wavered with their technique, their methods on the green, the equipment really, the model of putter. They've been just as steady as they've come, and they've done a lot of that through the years.
We talked about that a second ago. Players making pars from unlikely positions. And that long range here for SungJaeIm at 17.
Well, Swanee, this is officially 120 feet. And you might want to look at that swing in slow motion. I think there was a hip turn and a wrist cock.
We can let you know, Colin,
He's
that
going to have about 12 to 15 feet.
yeah, kind of let you know that John Swantek's going to take a little break.
Just to look and see exactly what goes on with regards to knee movement, hip movement, torso movement. Him now with a slider one from his left to right. Real peeler.
Gonna be
And that is
certainly a disappointing bogey there, but I would think that, Kyle, would help with your coaching and your instruction if to the par 5 12. Bo Hostler on the tee. Just to hang on a little bit, that should be just fine. As we head back to the 16th after a beautiful approach from Tommy Fleetwood.
Yeah, I was talking to his caddy Ian Finnis earlier today, and he said expect to see Tommy Fleetwood play a lot more here in the US in the upcoming months. That one just misses on the low side, and that's exciting for golf. Just such a good, solid player when he plays enough.
12th tee shot for Brandt Snedeker.
This par 5, playing under its par today. The 6th easiest hole of the golf course. Snedeker finds a fairway, which will afford him the opportunity of perhaps having a crack at the screen in 2.
And we will now head over to the par 4 17th. Tommy Fleetwood will play first. Colin?
Yeah, I marched off about 25 extra paces from where this is measured. This is the forward tee. So this one definitely will play a little longer carry than what's in the yardage book. I think if he stays left of the oak tree, with what little wind is there from the left, he should have enough firepower to get over that and onto the fairway. Really difficult tee shot to sort of fit in here. If you hit it on the wrong shape, if you turn it from right to left too much, you'll run through into the long grasses. We've seen a number of players do over the last couple of days. And this one on a beautiful line just left of the oak tree. That one should be picture perfect.
And about 280 to clear that sandy area today as they play this par 4 at 480 yards. Coming off the bogey back at 16 now, SungJaeIm to play here at 17. So there's 2 fairways.
Hit a beauty there at 15. That set up birdie. I'm going to say he could take this a little bit further right than Fleetwood. Well, he started this on a little further left line. He's going to have to be careful. He could run through. But that one looks like it might be okay.
And that'll be just fine there. Second feature group at the par 5 12. Brant Snedeker will play first.
Just a very narrow opening into this green. Right there in between those 2 bunkers. This turning towards that target, perhaps overdoing it. And we'll clamber up on that left-hand side and we'll run all the way through the green. If it stays in that short grass, it will be a good angle to pitch to that back right hole location. We'll have to be making sure that he goes either above those top tree limbs or around them. Using the same club he used earlier today on the 4th hole, I believe, going for the green in 2, on the 2nd hole, I mean. This starting way out to the right, trying to sling it back. And leaves it out there.
They have gotten a look. Par 4 17th. Second shot for SungJaeIm here, Colin.
Yeah, this from 168 split the fairway. A little bit of wind off his left and down. This green also a little bit like a crown, so once it gets to the middle of the green, it's all downhill of the pin. I'd be surprised to see this take a big bounce. Well, he flew it all the way to the bucket, and that one winding itself all the way back down to the back of the green.
Yeah, it looked like the
really start to bounce, get a little frisky as these dry out. Tommy really pushed this one down here. He's got 132 to this back center pin location. I really think he needs to land this in the vicinity of 127, less a little bit of wind, so maybe a 120 shot. Oh, good looking contact.
Good.
Right at it. Ooh, he landed that about 2 yards too short.
to the 12th.
Snedeker's 3rd to the par 5. Electing to bump it, just not carrying enough speed. And that will
Have
behind me here we have the cables and then the matting that is just put into the ground with stakes or little nails. Do we pull those nails or are they movable?
Talking about the mat secured to the ground.
Yeah, it's secured on the grass, epoxy, with they're like nails here.
I think that's covered on that hard card, isn't it? Instructions.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm. Thanks. So.
The only thing would be is if you move cable.
All right, so in the nearest corner, this goes back kind of here.
Even though that cable's in like kind of a swing?
Yeah, well, maybe back. Maybe there, and then a club length.
Okay.
You want this down?
Well, I want to go over here. I can go that way, right?
As long as you're not standing on that mat after you drop, it has to stay within that one club length.
So clearly this is being deemed as an immovable obstruction.
So I need to drop it over here, though.
Yeah, you have to take complete relief. So you wouldn't be able to stand on it. So wherever
I guess I would argue, well, yeah, I hear you. I'm just saying this is kind of just still in the way. I mean, feasibly you cut this ball.
Yeah, I understand, but you don't get line of sight relief for it.
For a cable?
Yeah, for a cable you wouldn't get line of sight relief for that. We can move it as much as we can, but you won't get line of sight relief for it.
Really?
Yeah.
So what he's asking for is a line of sight.
That's shocking to me that I would not be allowed to cut this ball and get relief from that. I hear you. I mean, I'm not saying you're
we could lift the cable if you wanted the cable lifted.
Right.
You know, someone could come over here and lift it while you putt it, but
all right. Well, I'm not going to go to full club. I don't want to be in that. I'm just going to drop it right there. Right?
So the wire on the ground, because it is affixed to the ground, becomes an immovable obstruction.
Really, you're getting relief because we can't move this cable very much.
I hear you. I'm just
here we'd be able to move it a bunch.
I mean, I'm shocked that.
Like I said, we could lift it, but you just don't get relief for it.
I get it.
We have a lot of spare cables. You can bring it. We'll here.
It's okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right, go ahead and re-drop it.
You know it's not closer?
It's closer than where we determined your nearest point of relief to be.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and just place it on that spot.
Can I clean it?
Yes, you can. All right, now your ball's.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Kind of an odd scenario there, Daniel.
Yeah, I think what Bo was going for, that because his ball was on top of a immovable obstruction, the new rules state that you can get the line of sight, but because it wasn't inside of it and it was interfering with his swing, he could only get one club length, not near the hole. Now, this is, yeah, so anyway, he's got a high lofted club now for sandy area. He really needs to pay attention to strike here. Obviously eliminates the prospect of rolling the ball because the wire is in his way. And that's why he was upset. He wanted to be able to roll the ball along the ground, and the wire would not allow him to do that.
Would you have called for another official to get maybe
It was in my way.
opinion?
It was in my way of play.
Yeah.
So what he was asking for was line of sight, because it's going to interfere in the shot that I'm trying to play on my line. And the official, obviously, I guess there might have been some miscommunication there. I would have been calling for somebody else.
That was over at the 12th, back at the 17th behind the green. SungJaeIm, similar relief to what, or at least what Bo was looking for, Colin.
Well, similar, but not quite the same. This was a cable that was holding up the TV stand, so he's entitled to take relief. And that one, not his best. Just checking up into the fringe, into the ground.
Hustler with being able to chip this off the grass. A much better effort.
We head back to 17. TommyFleetwood for birdie here.
Yeah, after a lengthy wait for that ruling for SungJaeIm, Tommy's now got this for birdie, just inside 24 feet. Will come from his right to left a bit as it dies.
Now, I would think a pretty important par putt here, Colin.
Yeah, absolutely, just inside 12 feet. Really, his chip shot here, just coming up short, catching the apron into the grain, coming up short. Really, the mistake was made there on the approach shot. He flew it all the way to the pin. These greens just not as receptive. That was the mistake. Bounced long, got into a position where you just can't short side yourself around here. Really needed to land that sort of 5-6 paces short of the pin. This is going to be a disappointing bogey for SungJaeIm from the middle of the fairway. From just 160 odd yards.
This would drop him back to even on his round. Disappointing. Now back over at the par 5 12th. Grant Snedeker for birdie. Another miss for Brandt, and now a par save back at 17 for TommyFleetwood.
Yeah, not too much in this one from Tommy. Really hit a nice shot in there, but really, the birdie putt really never on the right line at the right speed.
Elf and Bo Hostler. Yeah, I think fortunate to make the par, but
I think this is a good, smart play. I think by pushing the tee back, the thought process is that these guys will go with a lot more club, but realistically, if you play the angles game using Pythagoras theorem, I think you'll figure out that it's easier if you hit a 9. That one there for Tommy is perfect, right in the middle of the fairway.
yeah, that second shot will make its way over a penalty area as we go back to the 13th, and Bo Hostler.
Where else is that going?
Just leaking down that right-hand side. Is going to need a kick. He gets a kick. By goodness, that thing shot off like a rocket. In that hard pan area, the camera couldn't keep up. He might not have very long left for his second shot, but could be trouble, though.
And now back at the 18th. Less than driver for SungJaeIm. Say fairway metal, Colin.
Yeah, I think you could probably get up there to about fairway metal. The sandy area is going to come in at about 290 yards. Wind for them will be pretty much across from the player's left. This one's starting down the left-hand side. He's hoping for it to fade back towards the fairway. That one may have stayed fairly straight.
Ended up middle of the fairway, just past the golf ball. Seconds as we go back to 13, and Grant Snedeker.
And this heading even further to the right. Gets a softer bounce and looks like it stays in the grassy area. It'll just be a matter of what kind of tree trouble he'll have.
Snedeker, Daniel.
He has a gap. How far down there is he trying to advance this? You're right. That's just pitching it out into position. Clearly wasn't willing to take any further risk than that.
Back at the 10, 11 had to do the same thing. Now Bo Hostler.
Oh boy, that was just a little chip and run. And what a shot this is, Carney.
And it seems somewhat fitting after what he went through back at the 12th, but what's
attention to that, make sure that you don't aim too far out to the right, as Snedeker now with his wedge trying to get this up and down to save par from 90 yards. Should be an ideal number to control the spin with his highest lofted wedge.
Well done.
And Snedeker will have a chance to save par again. Did that.
Toss. Both these guys got exactly the same yardage, 158 yards. What little wind is there is directly downwind for them to this back right pin location today. This one on a lovely line, just drawing over left of the pin. And that one's going to be about pin high left, about 35 feet away.
So Tommy in 1 under on his round. Like to make a final birdie there. And now SungJaeIm will play his second.
Such a beautiful second shot in here to the closing hole at Congaree. All over those sandy areas, that little pond, those Royal Melbourne-like bunkers at the front of this green. And this one, really good contact for SungJaeIm, also straight at the pin. It may have to sit down, Carney. It's in the collection area over the back.
Yeah, that ball, we've seen that a number of times, Daniel, where a number of his shots, most players, it takes the bounce, but then the ball grabs his.
Shallow, doesn't generate as much spin as some others, as Bo now, after that incredible punch and run through the trees and under the limbs to this point. And looks like he's walking after it early. We'll probably have to just settle for his par, which all in all, after where that tee shot was, will be acceptable. At 2 under par for the tournament is
Save par at the 13th.
beautiful look at his short pop stroke there.
He has hit a lot of putts that just, a lot of good putts that haven't dropped. So Sneds will drop.
Here in South Carolina, they love it.
SungJae electing to chip
a beautiful shot straight in over the top of the flag. Yep, I'm sorry, Daniel.
Yeah, no, SungJae, I was just mentioning SungJae electing to chip this ball, opening the face up, trying to play a lofted type of a shot.
Yeah, he's done that a couple of times. He didn't.
Maybe a little frustration of the finish for SungJae now on the tee at the 14th, Bo Hostler.
Good shot. 99 front. 209.
Just off the front edge there as we will head back to the 18th and Tommy Fleetwood, his birdie attempt.
Yeah, this is a good look here for Tommy Fleetwood. Just got to keep the speed up. We've seen him do that a number of times today. Just come up a little bit short, right in the heart. I think it's a good sign if Tommy can play a little bit more golf here in the US. Get into a rhythm. Pop his head up there a number of times at big events, major championships.
So Fleetwood will shoot a 1 under par 70. He'll head into Sunday at even par. Now, Brandt Snedeker at 14.
Go ball.
And you see these guys now, they're so cognizant of the fact that the greens are releasing, that if you land it up on the green, Im now in 18.
This for a disappointing even par round for SungJae. And not the finish he was looking for after the finish he had yesterday. Bogeys at 16 and 17. Even par, 71 for SungJaeIm. So they will make their way into the scoring tent. Again, we will follow the group of Ian Poulter and Luke Donald when we come back here on PGA Tour Live. And back at the par 3 14th. Second shot for Brandt Snedeker.
Looking to make this one. Gets a little hop to the left as it lands on the green.
And we will head over to the par 4 third. Second shot for Luke Donald.
Good to see him back playing golf again. Numerous injuries lately, having ascended to the peak of world golf rankings, #1 in the world for a brief period.
Now Beau Hossler
should break to his left, as we saw Snedeker's chip shot, and that's kind of significant amount of turn right there at the end. Just running out of speed.
We'll head back to the par 4 third, second for Ian Poulter.
Now, this is a long sand shot. So difficult to run it all the way back there. He's actually done quite well.
On a 2 under, now back at 14. Snedeker for par, so.
The best pitching action, bar none, in the modern game, and a great putter. So, and we see Poulter also a great putter. I'm sure we'll see plenty of excitement around the greens here today from this pairing. Really couldn't find
These guys.
After a spectacular pitch shot, controlled the spin, is to get to 4 under for the tournament. That's just meat and drink for Donald from that range.
Look at the tee now. Beau Hossler with driver.
Again, just trying to make sure you do not miss this thing right. The whole location today on that front right-hand side as well. Anything up the left-hand side, but then the further left you fly it, the further it is to carry that sandy area. And this looks like he's leaked it out to the right just by his body English. Flew it all the way into the sand by the green and hit on that downslope. So it might have run up there quite a good bit, and it might be doable.
And now, Brandt Snedeker.
Now Snedeker trying to just sling one in there from that right-hand side. Makes it easier for him to cover that sandy area on the left. This heading up the left edge of the green and does not make that carry. That's a good 285 to fly it over on the line that he chose there. And that's going to leave a very awkward long bunker shot.
And Beau Hossler was 5/4.
This one gettable for everybody. They get over the brow of that hill and it just takes off like a jackback rabbit down that hill. See a lot of rollout here with the drives. That one actually hit reasonably soft, but still rolling out.
So coming off the birdie, Luke Donald in good shape there at the par 5 fourth. And next up, Ian Poulter.
Okay, going with the darker shade of blue pants. A little disappointing, really. His shoes aren't necessarily matching the rest of his outfit. The visor and shoes do, however, and this going up the right-hand side will lose just a little bit of advantage of that hill. Not going to be firing down that slope as much. Might be a little too far for Poulter to get there into.
Maybe a red saddle, maybe a blue saddle with a red shoe. Sand shot, I should say, for Brandt Snedeker.
You saw how fine and powdery that sand is. Able to take a practice stroke, and that's very well done. Get it on the surface. Advantage of being able to test the consistency of that sand, knowing how the club's going to go through it. Now, Beau finding the grassy area. Now, this makes a shot exponentially more difficult. You're not going to be able to spin it as much. You may be able to elevate it more, but getting the right strike is going to be paramount now. Obviously, the big miss is make sure you get it over the sandy area, and anywhere on the green on the other side will be fine. Not to get too cute.
So that's key. Just make sure you get it to the green.
Yes.
What happens after that?
He did very well there. Actually got the ball to land fairly gently on the green and left himself a makeable putt now. Very well done.
Yeah, a little unlucky there. You mentioned when his tee shot, the ball landed on a downslope. Thought it might kick to a flat area. Now back at the 4th.